Hey man, let's talk about something that most women will never admit out loud. The silent regret that creeps in when you don't come back. At first, she thought she had it all figured out. She believed she could walk away, find someone new, distract herself with validation, and somehow forget the peace, safety, and love you once gave her. She told herself you'd always be there. She assumed your loyalty was permanent, a guarantee she could revisit when the excitement faded. But when you didn't chase, when you didn't text, when you didn't come back, something inside her shifted. That silence that used to comfort her now haunts her. Every night she checks her phone, hoping for that one message, the one she used to ignore. And when it doesn't come, the regret begins to grow like a shadow she can't escape. You see, a woman never truly understands the depth of a man's presence until it's gone. When you stop showing up, she starts to feel the void. It's not the loss of attention that hurts her, it's the loss of meaning, because your presence carried weight. It grounded her chaos. It gave her something real in a world built on illusions. When you left, she thought she'd find that same feeling elsewhere, but she didn't. Every man she meets now is a reflection of what she lost. They talk too much, feel too little, and vanish too soon. None of them have your patience, your calm, or your depth. And so, even while she smiles and pretends to have moved on, her soul is quietly screaming your name. Regret doesn't hit her all at once. It sneaks in slowly. It starts when she sees your silence turning into peace. When she realizes you no longer watch her stories, no longer reply to her hints, no longer seem affected by her absence. She thought you'd wait. But now, it's clear, you've outgrown her. And that's what terrifies her the most. Because women crave emotional control. They need to feel like they could have you if they wanted you. But the moment you step into self-respect, when your absence becomes permanent, she loses that illusion. She doesn't just miss you, she misses the power she once had over you. That's the kind of regret that burns quietly and never leaves. When she hears about your growth, that you've become more focused, stronger, happier, it stings. Because it proves something she never wanted to face, that losing you didn't break you, it built you. The same silence she thought would destroy you became your strength. The same distance she used to punish you turned into your discipline. You stopped chasing, and she started wondering. You stopped trying to prove your worth, and now she questions her own. Every success you achieve, every picture where you look calm and content, becomes a reminder that you were never dependent on her love. You were only distracted by it, and now that you're free, she's the one trapped in the past. The real regret hits when she realizes you're not angry anymore, because anger means you still care. But indifference, that's final. That's when she knows she's lost you completely. The man who once argued, explained, and begged for her to understand, he's gone. You stopped fighting for her, and now she's fighting her own thoughts. That's how karma works, man. The pain she caused you doesn't vanish. It echoes back in silence. Every time she checks her phone and sees nothing. Every time she thinks about reaching out and stops herself out of pride. Every time she laughs in public, but feels empty in private. That's when she realizes the price of taking a good man for granted. Her mind becomes her own worst enemy. Every night, she replays the moments when you were still there. The way you listened, even when she was cruel. The way you stayed calm when she provoked you. The way you tried to make things work when she had already half checked out. She starts remembering the details she once ignored. The patience in your tone, the steadiness in your eyes, the quiet loyalty that never asked for recognition. At the time, she mistook your stability for weakness. Now, in your absence, she realizes it was strength. That realization doesn't arrive gently. It hits her during small, unexpected moments, while she's scrolling through old pictures, while she hears a song that reminds her of you, while another man fails to make her feel safe. That's when she begins to understand that what she walked away from wasn't just a man, it was an anchor in a world full of noise. The regret deepens when she tries to replace you and fails. She'll go on dates, she'll laugh too loud, she'll post pictures to convince herself she's happy, but none of it feels right. The conversations feel forced, the affection feels empty, and every smile feels rehearsed. Because no matter how hard she tries, the men she meets now are either too eager or too detached. None of them have your balance. None of them can meet her emotionally without losing themselves in the process. And deep down, she knows. She was already loved by a man who gave her what most women spend their lives searching for: security without control, love without weakness, presence without pressure, and she destroyed it for the illusion of more. That's not an easy truth to live with. Slowly, her memories begin to turn against her. At first, she tried to paint you as the villain. She told herself you were controlling, distant, or unavailable. But time has a way of stripping away false narratives. With distance, she begins to see things clearly. You weren't cold, you were calm. You weren't detached, you were focused. You weren't emotionless, you were disciplined. She realizes you didn't walk away because you stopped caring. You walked away because you started caring about yourself. That's what truly breaks her. Not that you left, but that you left with dignity. Because it's one thing to lose a man through chaos, but it's another thing entirely to lose him through silence. She didn't just lose your love, she lost your respect. And once a man stops respecting a woman, there's no path back to his heart. She might try to come back, not because she's ready to love you the way you deserve, but because she misses how your presence made her feel about herself. She misses the validation, the attention, the emotional security you unknowingly gave her. She'll test the waters, a small text, a random like, a vague story meant for you to see. But when you don't react, it crushes her. Because for the first time, she realizes the connection wasn't mutual. It was built on your effort. You were the emotional backbone of the relationship, and without you, everything collapses. That's when the regret becomes unbearable, because she doesn't just miss you, she misses the version of herself that only existed when she had you. And she knows she'll never feel that way again, not with anyone else. What she'll never admit, not to her friends, not even to herself, is that she thought you'd always be an option. She thought you'd wait. She thought she could leave, explore, and return to a man still standing in the same place. But when she finally looks back, you're not there anymore. You've moved on, not out of bitterness, but out of evolution. You didn't replace her. You replaced the part of yourself that tolerated her inconsistency. That's what kills her the most. Because she thought your love was endless. She thought she could test your limits forever. But you had one boundary she never saw coming: indifference. That quiet, steady, final silence that says, "I'm done explaining myself." And when a man reaches that level of calm, there's no woman alive who can manipulate him again. That's the kind of strength that haunts her long after the love fades. As weeks turn into months, her regret begins to evolve from subtle unease into a quiet desperation. It doesn't happen all at once. It creeps in like a shadow she can't outrun. Every morning she wakes up and checks her phone, still half expecting your name to appear. That small habit she once took for granted, the constant notifications, the reassurance of your presence, has vanished. Her world feels quieter now, but not in a peaceful way. It's the kind of silence that echoes back her own choices. She scrolls through your old messages, not because she wants to relive the past, but because she's searching for a sign that maybe you still care. Every time she rereads your words, she notices something she didn't before. The patience, the effort, the gentleness, hidden in every response. Back then, she was too busy testing you to see it. Now, those same messages feel like letters from a different lifetime, reminders of a man she'll never get back. That's the strange cruelty of time. It doesn't always heal. Sometimes it just forces you to understand what you destroyed too late. Her friends will notice the shift before she admits it. They'll hear it in the way she brings your name up casually, pretending it doesn't hurt. They'll see it in her eyes when someone mentions you've been doing well. She'll laugh it off, saying she's happy for you. But deep down, she feels something tightening in her chest. Because happiness isn't what she expected from you after her absence, she expected pain. She thought her leaving would leave you broken, that she'd still hold power through your suffering. But when she sees that you've built peace instead, that you've flourished, it dismantles the very story she told herself to feel superior. She starts realizing that she wasn't your downfall, she was your lesson, that her leaving didn't destroy you, it revealed you. And that realization is unbearable, because now, every man she meets will be compared to the version of you that no longer exists in her life. Late at night, regret has a way of transforming into obsession. She'll lay in bed, replaying every argument, every conversation, every moment she could have handled differently. She remembers the time she rolled her eyes when you tried to explain something real, the time she walked away mid-sentence just to prove she didn't care, the way she weaponized her silence because she knew it hurt you. But now, the roles have reversed. Your silence is what's haunting her. The same indifference she once used to control you has become the chain around her own neck, because she can feel it now, the absence of your emotional energy. You used to pour your soul into her, and now there's nothing. That void she created by pushing you away is the same void consuming her from the inside. She doesn't miss your love, she misses the power she had over it. And that's the difference between heartbreak and regret. Heartbreak fades, but regret stains the soul. She tries to fill the void. New hobbies, new people, new distractions. She convinces herself she's moving on, but every time something reminds her of you, the mask slips. She might see a man walking with that same quiet confidence you had, and her stomach will tighten. She might hear someone speak with your same calm authority, and her heart will skip. But no matter how much she searches, she'll never find another man who treated her the way you did. Not because you were perfect, but because you were real. In a world full of temporary connections, you offered something grounding. Something that didn't demand, but simply was. That kind of energy can't be replaced. It can only be mourned. And that's when she starts to understand why she feels so hollow. Because you weren't just another man in her life. You were the reflection of everything she claimed she wanted, and the proof that she wasn't ready for it. Now she begins to sense something deeper, your emotional detachment. She thought time would bring you back, that distance would make you nostalgic, that your love would eventually pull you toward her again. But instead, you've gone quiet. Not the bitter kind of quiet that waits for revenge, but the peaceful kind that comes from acceptance. And that, more than anything, terrifies her. Because she realizes you've reached a place she can't follow. You've healed, you've moved on, and in her mind, that's the ultimate betrayal. She wanted you to stay loyal to the pain, to keep circling the memory of her, but instead, you've built a life that no longer includes her shadow. You've turned her into a closed chapter in a book she can't rewrite. That's when the regret turns into grief, because she didn't just lose a man, she lost the version of herself that once had access to your world. And deep down, she knows, no matter how much time passes, no matter who comes next, no one will ever look at her the way you once did before you learned to see through her. There comes a point when the weight of her decisions starts pressing against her chest, like a memory she can't escape. She wakes up one morning and realizes the world has moved on, but her heart hasn't. Every familiar song, every quiet evening, every glimpse of something that reminds her of you, brings that dull ache rushing back. The regret she once ignored has matured into something much heavier, an understanding that what she lost wasn't replaceable. She scrolls through her feed and sees you, not flaunting, not performing, just living. You look grounded, calm, free, and that's what crushes her most. Because your peace isn't loud, it's effortless. It's the kind of peace that only comes when a man finally stops caring about what doesn't value him. And the more she sees it, the more it unravels her carefully built illusion of control. See, for a long time, she told herself that you'd come back. She assumed you were just angry, that you needed time, that one day you'd realize you couldn't do better. But as months pass, she starts realizing something terrifying. You really meant it when you walked away. There's no message waiting to be sent, no maybe lingering in your tone, no energy left for her games. You've reached that sacred place in a man's life, where he no longer needs closure, where he doesn't look back for validation. That kind of peace, that quiet indifference, it's something women can't manipulate, and she knows it, because she can feel it in every interaction. The emotional door is shut, and the man who once would have fought for her is gone. You're not angry, you're not bitter, you're just done. And that is what keeps her awake at night. She'll try to recreate the spark, in subtle ways. A comment here, a reaction there. Maybe even a casual, "Hey, how have you been?" text sent under the pretense of friendliness. But she's not reaching out because she misses you. She's reaching out because she misses the version of herself that felt desired by you. When you don't respond, or worse, when you respond calmly and without emotion, it shatters her illusion completely. Because now she sees the difference between attention and connection. She used to mistake your presence for weakness. Now she realizes it was discipline. You gave her chances when most men would have walked away. You forgave things most men wouldn't tolerate. And now that you've chosen yourself, she understands what unconditional strength looks like. But the cruel irony, the same independence she admired in you when she met you, is the same thing that now makes her feel irrelevant. As time passes, she begins to relive the moments she thought were trivial, the late night talks, The subtle glances, the small sacrifices you made that she never thanked you for. They haunt her because they reveal a truth she tried to avoid. You were emotionally real, and she wasn't ready for that. While she was playing games, you were investing. While she was seeking excitement, you were offering consistency. She thought detachment was power, but now she sees that it was emptiness. And that emptiness echoes louder in her now than ever before. Every man she meets feels temporary, hollow, shallow compared to what you gave. And though she'll never say it, she secretly wishes you'd come back, just to remind her what genuine love feels like. But you won't. And that's what makes the lesson permanent. Eventually, she'll realize that her biggest mistake wasn't losing you, it was underestimating you. She thought you were like every other man she could manipulate, control, or guilt into chasing her. But you weren't. You had depth. You had standards. You had the courage to walk away when love stopped being respected. And now, as she watches you rise, she starts to understand something painful. She was never meant to break you. She was meant to build you. Her betrayal became your awakening. Her silence became your strength, and her regret, that became your closure. Because while she's stuck replaying memories, you're creating new ones, not out of spite, but out of peace. That's the real victory. Not proving her wrong, but proving to yourself that you didn't need her to become the man you were always meant to be. It's strange how karma doesn't always arrive like thunder. Sometimes it comes as silence. That's what she feels now. The heavy, suffocating silence of your absence. It's not filled with anger or confrontation. It's just the absence of everything that once made her feel alive. She checks her phone at midnight, scrolls through your old photos, reads your old messages again and again, pretending it's just nostalgia, but it's not. It's punishment. Because every word she reads now carries a different meaning, one she was too blind to see before. She realizes your love wasn't ordinary. It wasn't built on drama. It wasn't about chasing or proving. It was steady, patient, deeply masculine. It was the kind of love that could have built her peace, but she chose chaos instead. And now she's learning that chaos has no comfort, only noise. She'll notice the way her energy shifts when she sees you again, even if it's just online. You might post a picture, maybe you're smiling, maybe you're not. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you don't look broken. You look like a man who outgrew the version of himself that needed her. That realization cuts deep, because women expect men to crumble when they leave. They feed their ego by believing they were the best thing that ever happened to you. But when she sees that her departure didn't destroy you, that it actually refined you, it flips everything upside down. You've turned her rejection into redirection. You've turned her betrayal into balance. And now she's the one staring into the mirror, wondering how she managed to lose the one man who was actually capable of loving her beyond her surface. As months pass, she'll try to replicate your energy with other men. But that's the thing about depth. Once a woman has experienced a man with real emotional control, no shallow attention can satisfy her again. She'll flirt, she'll laugh, she'll pretend she's fine, but it won't feel the same. Because with them, she feels the constant need to prove her worth. With you, she felt safe without effort, and now she understands that safety isn't boring, it's rare. You were her emotional home, and she burned it down because she thought the thrill of freedom would feel better than the comfort of loyalty. But what she didn't realize is that excitement fades, peace doesn't. And the kind of peace you built for yourself now, away from her, is the one thing she'll never know again. There will be a day, maybe months or even years later, when she'll finally admit it, maybe not to you, but to herself. She'll sit alone and whisper that she lost the only man who truly saw her for who she was. Not the version she pretended to be for the world, not the mask she wore to impress others, but her. The broken, beautiful, complicated her. You didn't love her for potential, you loved her for presence. You didn't want to fix her, you just wanted to understand her. And she confused that acceptance for control. Now she'd give anything to feel that kind of understanding again, but it's gone. You've closed that chapter with quiet grace. You didn't need revenge, you didn't need closure, you just walked away with peace. And that peace is now her prison. And that's the most poetic ending of all. Not her crying, not her begging, not even her apologizing. Just the simple, painful truth that she now lives in the consequences of her own blindness. You were the man she prayed for before she even met you. and the man she wasn't ready to handle once she did. You were the storm and the shelter, the lesson and the loss. She'll never tell anyone, but deep inside, she knows she didn't just lose a man. She lost the chance to be truly understood, truly loved, truly seen. You became what every man eventually learns to become. A man who doesn't chase validation, who doesn't seek revenge, who simply lets people feel the absence of what they once took for granted. Because silence, when it comes from strength, doesn't just speak louder than words, it echoes forever in the hearts of those who once mistook your peace for weakness. There comes a point where her regret no longer looks like sadness, it starts to look like exhaustion. You can see it in her eyes when she laughs at something that doesn't really amuse her, when she forces herself to appear happy in photos, when she posts things online trying to convince the world she's over it. But the truth hides in those quiet, unfiltered moments when she's alone, staring at the ceiling, scrolling through your old pictures, and wondering how someone she once had so easily is now completely unreachable. That's what eats her alive. The realization that she wasn't replaced by another woman, but by your peace. You didn't go out searching for someone new. You simply stopped needing anyone at all. That's the kind of loss that no woman can heal from. When the man she thought would always be available becomes emotionally untouchable, she will try to find that same emotional chemistry again, but it won't work. She'll date men who are more successful, more attractive, more outspoken, but none of them will feel like you. Because what you gave her wasn't attention, it was presence. You didn't just look at her, you saw her. You didn't just listen, you understood. And when you left, that level of connection left with you. Now every conversation she has feels shallow. Every new relationship feels forced. Every "I love you" sounds like a line from a movie instead of something real. That's the irony of emotional depth. Once you've felt it, you can't unfeel it. She's trapped in her own nostalgia now, addicted to the memory of what used to be, haunted by the realization that she will never again be truly seen in that same way. What makes it worse is how gracefully you've handled everything. You didn't go online ranting about her. You didn't beg. You didn't try to prove anything. You just disappeared quietly, and that silence became her loudest lesson. Because now, everywhere she looks, she sees reflections of the man who used to give her everything and asks herself one question: why did I let him go? The answer isn't something she wants to admit. She confused stability for boredom, kindness for weakness, patience for predictability. She was conditioned to chase drama, and when she met peace, she mistook it for a lack of passion. But passion without peace destroys itself. She thought she wanted excitement, but now she understands that what she really wanted and lost was security. The type of love that doesn't need chaos to feel alive. The hardest part for her is the moment she realizes that you're no longer emotionally accessible. She'll test it, subtly at first. Maybe she sends a "Hey stranger" message, hoping to gauge your reaction. When you reply with kindness but indifference, her stomach drops, because now she sees what detachment really looks like. Not anger, not resentment, but calm neutrality. That calmness is the final confirmation that she no longer has a hold on you. It's not that you hate her, it's that she no longer matters in the way she used to. That's what crushes her, the indifference. Because for a woman who's used to controlling men with emotions, nothing is more terrifying than a man who's no longer affected by her at all. She realizes you've transcended her influence, and that realization breaks something inside her that can't be fixed. And that's when her real punishment begins. Not when you left, but when she finally understands why you left. When she sees that your silence wasn't manipulation, it was liberation. That your distance wasn't revenge, it was recovery. You weren't trying to make her regret, you were trying to reclaim your energy. And that's something she never expected. Because in her world, men chase, men explain, men beg, but you didn't. You chose silence over chaos, self-respect over validation, growth over bitterness. And that's what separates the men who stay stuck in emotional cycles from those who evolve into their higher selves. You didn't just move on from her, you leveled up because of her. You became proof that detachment isn't cruelty, it's clarity. And that clarity is what will keep you free, long after she's trapped in her own pattern of self-inflicted loss. The longer your silence stretches, the louder her mind becomes. She replays every conversation, every argument, every moment when you went quiet, searching for the exact point where she lost control. But what she doesn't realize is that you stopped being emotionally available long before you physically left. Your soul began detaching the moment you realized your peace was worth more than her validation, and now, that emotional withdrawal is what she feels the most. It's not that she misses you, she misses how she felt when she was with you. You made her feel grounded, desired, and safe all at once. That combination is rare, almost impossible to replicate, and every new man she tries to connect with reminds her of that void. It's not that they're bad men, they're just not you. They don't look at her the same way. They don't challenge her in silence. They don't see through her masks. What eats away at her is how your energy has shifted. She can feel it, even from a distance. You've become colder, but not in a cruel way. Colder in the way mountains are cold, untouchable and ancient. There's a peace in you now that she can't access, a stillness that unsettles her. Before, she could say one word and change your entire mood. Now she could pour her heart out and you'd barely flinch. That kind of power reversal terrifies her because it means her influence has expired. It means she no longer has access to your emotions, the very emotions she once took for granted. And deep down, she knows she caused that shift. It wasn't another woman. It wasn't revenge. It was her choices that froze the warmth in your heart. And that's what she'll never forgive herself for, turning the only man who truly cared into someone she can no longer reach. She might try to distract herself, to numb the sting of losing your attention. Nights out, new relationships, meaningless affection, all temporary bandages on a wound she refuses to admit exists. But the emptiness always returns. It follows her in quiet rooms, in half-hearted conversations, in the way her laughter fades too quickly, because deep down she knows none of it feels real. It's all noise meant to cover silence. And the silence, your silence, is the one thing she can't outrun. Every time her phone buzzes, she hopes it's you. Every time it isn't, the disappointment deepens. She doesn't want to care, but she does. Because you became the standard, the emotional benchmark that every man after you will be compared against. And the cruel truth is that most will never measure up. That's the cost of losing a man who was genuinely invested. You can replace the person, but not the energy. Meanwhile, you've evolved. What used to hurt now motivates you. What used to trigger you now teaches you. You no longer see relationships as emotional wars. You see them as reflections. Her inability to value you wasn't a statement about your worth. It was a mirror showing her own lack of depth. You stopped asking, "Why didn't she love me?" and started asking, "Why did I accept less than I deserved?" That shift in perspective is what frees men permanently. Because once a man understands that not everyone who claims to love him is capable of love, he stops internalizing rejection. He sees it for what it is, projection. And that realization changes everything. You no longer chase, you attract. You no longer explain, you observe. And that calm indifference that grows from understanding, that's what now drives her insane. Because she can feel the emotional distance, and she knows it's not temporary, it's permanent. Now, every version of her, the confident one, the manipulative one, the flirtatious one, fails to affect you. She can't get a reaction, can't make you stumble, can't pull you back into the emotional loop she once controlled so easily. And that's when it hits her. The game is over, and she lost. You no longer belong to the version of yourself who needed her approval. You've become something far more dangerous, a man who validates himself. That kind of energy is magnetic because it doesn't seek, it simply is. You walk into rooms differently now, you speak slower, you move with purpose. And people, not just women, feel it, they respect it. Because peace has a gravity of its own. You didn't get there through arrogance or revenge. You got there by enduring pain without becoming bitter. And that's the rarest transformation of all, turning heartbreak into higher consciousness. There's a strange shift that happens inside her the moment she realizes she can't affect you anymore. It's not immediate, it creeps in gradually, like an uncomfortable silence that grows heavier each day. She starts to see that her usual tactics no longer work. The emotional guilt trips, the subtle flirting, the indirect messages through mutual friends, none of it gets a response. It's as if she's screaming underwater and no one can hear her. That's when the truth hits. She no longer has emotional leverage. You've reclaimed every ounce of the power you once gave away. And that realization cuts her deeply because women thrive on emotional reaction. When you no longer react, you take away her identity within the relationship dynamic. She wants to find herself by how much attention she could draw from you. Now faced with your indifference, she feels invisible, and the irony is painful. She spent so much time craving control that she never realized how much she needed your validation to feel alive. In that silence you've created, she begins to spiral. Every memory becomes an obsession. Every small detail turns into a question she can't answer. Did he ever really love me? How did he move on so easily? Who is he talking to now? It's no longer about you. It's about her ego battling the unbearable idea that she lost control. But this is where you see the brilliance of emotional discipline. You didn't need to yell, prove, or even explain. You simply stopped showing up. That's the purest form of power a man can ever attain. Not the power to control someone else, but the power to control himself. While she's busy trying to decode your silence, you've already outgrown the entire game. Your absence now speaks louder than anything you could have said, because it shows that you no longer need her attention to feel whole. She's stuck in the loop, but you've moved into a new timeline, one where peace is more attractive than passion. She'll never admit this, but deep down, she starts comparing herself to the new women who might come into your life. Every picture you post, every change in your routine becomes a mystery she's desperate to solve. She tells herself she doesn't care, yet she's the first one to watch your stories, the first to notice your growth, the first to sense your energy shifting away for good. And what destroys her most is not seeing another woman in your life, it's seeing you happy without anyone at all. That realization shatters her ego, because it means your joy wasn't dependent on her. It means she wasn't the source of your happiness. She was merely a chapter in your story. And now that the story has evolved beyond her, she feels irrelevant, something no woman can tolerate. Because in her world, being forgotten is worse than being hated. Hate means you still care. Indifference means you've erased her completely, and that's what she fears the most. Meanwhile, the silence continues to mold you into a stronger version of yourself. You begin to realize that peace is not just the absence of chaos, it's the mastery of it. You've learned to sit with your emotions without needing validation, to observe without reacting, to detach without bitterness. You've reclaimed your masculine frame, not by domination, but by presence. And the world around you starts to mirror that strength. Opportunities open up. Your energy attracts better connections, and even your solitude starts to feel fulfilling. That's the paradox most men never understand. When you stop chasing what doesn't align with your peace, everything that's meant for you finds its way to you effortlessly. That's why women are drawn to detached men, because detachment radiates power. It says, I am enough. It's not arrogance, it's spiritual gravity. You no longer chase validation because you've already validated yourself. That's the kind of energy she can't replace, no matter how many men she meets. By the time she realizes what she's lost, it's too late. You've evolved past the point of return. You no longer crave her apology or her explanation because you finally understood that closure doesn't come from her words, it comes from your growth. Her silence, once a weapon, has become meaningless to you. You've outgrown the cycle of needing someone who only valued you when you were accessible. Now, you understand that not every connection is meant to last. Some are meant to wake you up. She was never your forever. She was your lesson. And that lesson reshaped everything. Your confidence, your standards, your energy. She'll keep looking for you in other men, but she'll never find you again, because the man she once knew doesn't exist anymore. He evolved through pain, through silence, through self-respect. And that's the part she'll regret most. Not that she lost you, but that she inspired the version of you who will never look back. At first, she tries to rationalize it, tells herself you're just pretending to be fine, that deep down you still think about her, that maybe you're using silence as a trick to make her miss you. But as time passes, the lie begins to crumble. She sees that your peace isn't an act. You aren't posting quotes about heartbreak. You aren't showing bitterness. You're simply living, and that realization cuts deeper than anything else. Because for her, detachment is impossible without replacement. For you, it became natural. You didn't need distractions. You needed distance. You didn't need another woman. You needed silence. And now that silence has turned into something sacred, it's become your armor. Every day she checks your online presence, hoping for some hint that you're still stuck on her, but all she finds is calm consistency. That's the ultimate heartbreak for a woman who expected chaos. You were supposed to be broken, but instead, you became untouchable. She'll start to test the edges of your absence, maybe through a mutual friend, maybe with an old inside joke dropped at the perfect time. Anything to feel that familiar spark again. But what she doesn't understand is that her timing is off. The moment for connection has passed. You no longer crave what she once represented because you finally see it clearly for what it was, an emotional illusion built on inconsistency and control. You realize she never truly loved you for who you were. She loved how much of yourself you gave her. The more attention you offered, the more validated she felt. Now that energy is gone, and she can't function without it. She's not chasing you anymore. She's chasing the emotional supply she lost. It's not love. It's dependence disguised as nostalgia. And while she's fighting to resurrect something that's already dead, you're too busy building something real, a life that no longer requires her approval to feel complete. The more she tries to move on, the harder it gets, because every man she meets feels like a downgraded version of what she once had with you. Not because they're bad men, but because they don't carry your energy, that grounded, composed, emotionally intelligent energy that comes from surviving heartbreak without losing dignity. They either try too hard or care too little. And that balance, that effortless calm confidence, is something only men who've healed can embody. She misses that energy, but she can't recreate it. So she starts romanticizing the past, rewriting the story in her head to make it more bearable. She convinces herself that maybe it was bad timing, maybe she wasn't ready, maybe you both needed to grow. But deep down, she knows. The timing wasn't wrong, she was. And now she lives with that quiet realization, the weight of knowing she destroyed something pure in exchange for temporary validation. What haunts her most is how indifferent you've become. You see, women are emotionally wired to test boundaries, to see how far they can push before you break. And when you never break, when you remain calm through their storms, it creates both attraction and fear. Because now she can't predict you anymore. You've broken free from her emotional rhythm. Your silence doesn't just bother her, it disorients her. It forces her to face herself. That's something most people avoid their whole lives. The reflection in the mirror when all distractions fade. You became that mirror for her, and she doesn't like what she sees. A woman who had everything and didn't value it until it was gone. It's not revenge, it's revelation. You didn't destroy her, you exposed her. Your stillness forced her to confront the truth. She was too busy avoiding. She was never ready for the kind of man who moves from emotional chaos to inner peace. And while she wrestles with that truth, you continue to evolve in silence. Your focus shifts from proving your worth to simply living it. You pour your energy into your purpose, your discipline, your craft. The same intensity you once gave to love now fuels your self-mastery, and people notice it. You carry yourself differently, not arrogant, but certain. You've become the kind of man who doesn't explain himself, doesn't beg to be understood, doesn't need to prove he's over someone. That energy is magnetic because it's rare. Most men stay trapped in the emotional loop, seeking closure from the same person who broke them. But you broke that cycle, and that's what truly sets you apart. You stopped seeing her as the villain and started seeing yourself as the lesson. You realized she wasn't sent to destroy you, she was sent to refine you. That's why your silence is so powerful. It's not coldness, it's transformation. At this point, her regret isn't just emotional, it becomes existential. She starts questioning everything. Was I the problem? Did I misjudge him? Would things have been different if I hadn't pulled away? The mind becomes her own worst enemy. She tries to drown those thoughts in distractions, but they keep resurfacing. Because regret doesn't fade with time, it deepens when pride gets in the way of apology. And her pride is what keeps her trapped. She wants to reach out, but she can't. Not because she doesn't want to, but because your calm energy has made her feel unworthy of access. That's the real shift. When a woman starts to believe she's no longer qualified to reach out to you, that's how power works in silence. It's not about manipulation or dominance, it's about self-respect, so unshakable that it creates natural distance. You didn't block her, you elevated so high, she can't find the stairs anymore. People around her begin to notice the difference too. They see how her laughter doesn't reach her eyes, how her confidence feels forced. Friends might tell her, "You'll find someone better," but she knows that's a lie. Because it's not about finding someone better, it's about finding that feeling again. And that feeling can't be replicated, because it wasn't chemistry, it was connection. You weren't her escape from loneliness, you were her mirror for wholeness. You made her feel seen in ways she didn't understand, and when you left, she realized that no amount of attention could replace presence. That's what most people never grasp. You can replace a person's role, but not their energy. That's why she keeps circling back mentally, trying to understand what she missed, how she miscalculated, and why her life feels emptier even when it looks full. Because she lost the only man who made her feel emotionally safe, not because he stayed, but because he left. As for you, this silence isn't about punishment, it's about alignment. You've learned that peace isn't something you find, it's something you protect. You stop trying to change her, fix her, or convince her, because you finally realize that no amount of effort can awaken someone who's addicted to chaos. That's the point every man eventually reaches, when he stops seeking understanding and starts valuing peace. You begin to see love, not as a battlefield, but as a mirror for self-awareness. If someone brings out your worst instead of your best, that's not love, that's emotional taxation. And the moment you detach from it, you begin to reclaim your identity. You start laughing again, sleeping deeply, walking with purpose. You realize that solitude isn't punishment, it's purification. You're not avoiding people, you're resetting your standards. And that reset is exactly why she'll never truly move on. Because you've become the man she always wanted, but never deserved. Eventually, she'll reach a stage where she tries to rewrite history. Maybe she'll tell herself that you were cold, emotionally unavailable, too distant. It's easier to blame your detachment than to admit her lack of appreciation. But deep down, she knows. She knows it wasn't that you were distant. It's that she mistook calmness for indifference. You weren't detached, you were disciplined. You weren't uninterested, you were uninterested in disrespect. That distinction will haunt her, because once a man reaches that level of emotional intelligence, he becomes immune to manipulation. And once a woman realizes her emotional games no longer work, she's left with nothing but reflection. You've become that reflection, the quiet consequence of her own decisions. You didn't destroy her, you revealed her. You didn't move on to spite her. You outgrew the version of yourself that tolerated her immaturity. And that's the difference between men who stay stuck and men who ascend. One seeks closure, the other becomes it. In the end, her greatest regret won't be losing your love. It'll be losing access to your presence. Because your presence was rare. It was strong but kind, assertive but patient, masculine but safe. It was the kind of energy that calms storms instead of joining them. And once a woman feels that kind of energy, no amount of surface-level affection can replace it. She'll meet new people, start new relationships, laugh at new jokes, but deep down, she'll carry that quiet ache, the one that whispers, "I had something real and I ruined it." Meanwhile, you'll keep rising, not with bitterness, but with balance. You've learned that not every ending is tragedy, some are transformation. Her regret is permanent, your peace is eternal. Because when you chose to walk away, you didn't lose her. She lost a version of herself that existed in your presence. And now, she'll live her whole life trying to recreate what only your silence could teach, that once a man finds peace, he becomes unforgettable.